Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day, where today we're going to be talking about adding a co-author to your Leanpub book and just showing you how easy that is and what the steps are, and talking a little bit about the terms and things like that. But before we get going, the usual housekeeping for the first minute or so. You can find these Lean Publishing Tip of the Day videos on our YouTube channel at Leanpub. Just search for the Lean Publishing Tip of the Day playlist. We've got about 30 or so currently, and it's just going to be growing hopefully every weekday, talking about something else. If you like taking some time out of your lunch break, or just some other time of your day to up your self-publishing game and your Leanpub game, hopefully these videos will be a sort of fun and interesting way of doing that. Each of these videos also has an accompanying blog post on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. As I always like to say, whenever you watch this video, if you don't find this blog post right there on the blog main page, you can click that little magnifying glass on the top right, and you can search for the keywords there. The reason the blog posts are kind of important is that they have all kinds of helpful links and written out descriptions if you'd rather read something or skim something quickly than watch a video or listen to me talk. You can also sign up for the Lean Publishing Daily Newsletter. There's a button to do that at the top of each of these blog posts. And there's also a banner at the top of our homepage at leanpub.com where you can sign up for the Lean Publishing Daily Newsletter. In the newsletter, you'll get a bunch of interesting, really good deals on Leanpub ebooks and courses and course tracks and ebook bundles. But if you scroll down every weekday in your inbox, you'll be getting one of these Lean Publishing tips of the day. So with that said, let's go and talk about this tip of the day, adding a co-author. So some platforms make things hard. Some platforms make things easy. I think that actually Leanpub might be, might have one of the easiest kind of adding a co-author processes there are for any self-publishing platform out there. Basically, all you need to do is you need to get your co-author. You need to create a book on Leanpub, of course. We go to leanpub.com/create/book. You will then be as the creator of the book. You will be what we call the primary author of the book. You can then go right away to the authors page on your Leanpub Books overview page, and there you can enter the email address of your co-author. They'll get an email from us inviting them to be a co-author of the book. Currently, I believe you do want to ask them to create a Leanpub account first. That's relatively easy to do on the leanpub.com website. You should be able to find it in the menu at the top right very easily, how to sign up. So if they sign up for a Leanpub account first, you give them their email address, they'll get a little notification email, and then they can click to accept being added to the book. We've got a really helpful article that goes step-by-step in the Help Center that explains how to do this. For example, we show the sign-up page where you can direct it. You can basically, if you want to add someone as a co-author, give them this article and they'll know what to do. They click sign up. They sign up for a Leanpub account if they don't already have one. Then you go to the, you can also ask them for their username. That can help as part of the process, but I think that might be an older part of the process. Currently, it might be something that we add back. So then you go to your Leanpub Books overview page, you click on authors here, and I'll show you this in a live book in just a second. And then you will see, of course, that in the browser writing mode, currently you can't add co-authors. That's basically because, and by the way, the writing mode I'm talking about is one where you write in your web browser instead of using GitHub or Dropbox. The reason you can't add co-authors there is that we don't really have very sophisticated way to prevent people from clobbering each other's work. This isn't Google Docs. This may have been updated or maybe updated at some point to allow co-authors on browser mode books. This is actually something I should have double checked before this video, but I'll do that afterwards. If you want to invite a new co-author, you enter their email address. And crucially, this is very important. What you're also going to want to do is enter the royalty split. So by default, when you create a new book, you get 100% of the royalties. When you add a new author, a co-author, you need to assign some percentage of the royalties to them between 0 and 100. A typical, obviously, author royalty split is 50%. One thing to note is that if you are, and these things can it's very simple to add a co-author, but things can get complicated. For example, what happens if you publish the book and you've got some sales, and then you add a co-author later? Is the royalty split retroactive? The answer is no. The royalty split is active at the moment you sort of set the split. And then when they accept it, Crucially, you as the primary author can change that royalty split anytime you want. We'll talk a little bit about that later. People typically don't do this. Whatever your legal arrangement is with as co-authors is none of our business. But I will talk again about what it means to be the primary author later. And yeah, and so you will then when you click to send the invitation, you'll see the status as invited. What they'll get is they'll get an email like this from us, and they can accept or reject the invitation. If you've used GitHub or anything like that, you're familiar with this kind of step. They click view invitation. They'll be taken to an ugly, which is currently a rather ugly page, but very simple. They can click the blue button to accept the invitation, and when they've done this, they will be able to go into the admin section of the book, basically do almost everything you can do as the primary author. Like they could go in and they could change the title of the book. They could want it if they wanted to. They can change the about the book stuff. So inviting someone to be a co-author is inviting someone to be a colleague or collaborator in your project, and they do have a high level of permissions and things like that. There's more sort of steps about the invitation and stuff like that below in this article. We're also showing how you can actually, if you want to, you can make the other person the primary author on the book if you've decided that you want to switch your roles around, things like that. And yeah, you can actually even use this to kind of if you've got more than one Leanpub account, you can switch the book out through a sort of iterative step to make your other account the primary author of the book and take yourself off it. We had someone do this recently because they wanted a different payment setting basically for a new book that they were creating than they wanted for their old book. So they created a separate Leanpub account so that the payments can go to that separate Leanpub account. If you want to know what a book with co-authors looks like, here's an example. A really great book by Janet Gregory and Lisa Crispin, who are longtime collaborators on software testing and things like that. They've both, I believe, individually been on the Leanpub podcast in the past. So check that out on our YouTube channel at Leanpub to find those really great interviews. I remember something about donkeys. But in any case, this is what it looks like. If there's two authors on a book, you'll have one author's name on the left, another author's name on the right. You can click the links to go to the profile page for each of those authors. And there's an about the authors section down below that's pulling in the information like the avatar image, the name, social media links, and about the author text that comes from the author's profile page. Yeah, and so that's what a Leanpub co-author page or co-authored book looks like. If you want to know, now let's go to a live book, and I'll just briefly show you how you would do this. You go to edit. That takes you to your book's overview page. The first thing you learn when you become a Leanpub author and create a book is probably that, going to the overview page for the book. Bookmark it if you're into bookmarks in your web browser, so that it's easy to find. Then you go to the authors page here in settings, and this is where you can add. If it weren't a browser book, you could actually add a co-author. I forgot that this demo book is actually in browser mode. So I guess we're confirming what I was curious about earlier. Yeah, if you're in browser mode, you can't add a co-author. But if this were a kind of GitHub book or a Dropbox book or an upload book, I believe as well, you would be able to add a co-author easily here, like I showed you in that. Let's just go back to it. In that really helpful step-by-step tutorial article in our help center. So if you go to our help center at help.leanpub.com, just search for co-author and you'll find this step-by-step tutorial, which I guess is up to date. Now I mentioned something about, we've got a link to this in the actual blog post as well, but this sort of fine print about the roles of primary author and co-author. If you're going to add a co-author to your book, I suggest that both of you check out this section. If you click that link, there, you will go to this section of the terms of service, where we talk about primary authors and co-authors. This is very important. One thing I would venture to say is that disputes between co-authors are, from what we can see, extremely rare. People who get involved in these kind of collaborative things know each other, they're colleagues, they both have shared interest in having the project succeed, etc. But You have to be prepared for, if things go bad in your relationship between you as the authors. And this is actually where, if that does happen, this is where one of the places you're going to be going. What does the primary author mean? Does the primary author have control? Things like that. So you're going to want to read this section of the terms of service. If you're a co-author, you and both your co-author, if you are the primary author, are going to want to read this section of the terms of service, and of course, the whole terms of service as well. So let's go back. This is the main article for today's Lean Publishing tip of the day, adding a co-author to your book. I'm going to stop sharing now. As always, if you jumped into this late, you can find these Lean Publishing Tip of the Day videos recorded for posterity on our YouTube channel at Leanpub. Please like and subscribe if you like these kinds of things. You can search for the playlist Lean Publishing Tip of the Day there and find these videos easily and search through them, just like you can search through our blog, I guess, trying to find past tips of the day, things you're interested in. Of course, there's also our Author Help Center that you can search as well to get instant answers to all of your questions. If you ever need to reach out to us because you can't find something in the Help Center or the Authors Forum or on the blog or on the YouTube channel that answers a question that you have, please email us at hello@leanpub.com with some details, including a link to your book. Please, that's really helpful. And, one of the reasons we have all these tips of the day and over 1,000 articles in our Help Center is because of people like you reaching out to us, asking us questions, and then we turn that into publicly searchable content so that people can get instant answers and don't have to wait for us to be at our keyboards in Pacific time or whatever time zone our team members are in. So please follow us on social media. Please follow us and subscribe on YouTube, especially, and also on LinkedIn. On YouTube, you're going to find not only these tip of the day videos, but you're going to find, some explainer videos. You're going to find new release videos. You're going to find book and course launch videos, which are really fun. Short conversations with authors who've, relatively recently published a book or a course or a new version of their book or course. And you'll also find the Leanpub podcast, where we have, long form, in-depth interviews with Leanpub authors and special guests from all around the world, writing and talking about all kinds of interesting subjects in depth. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching this Lean Publishing Tip of the Day.